What a sound that is, the Four Wheel Drive podcast powered by Tyrepower. It just feels like I haven't had this moment for a long time, Ronny. You've been out and about the Southern River Band. We've been saying it, but Jade and I haven't even put headphones on because it's just been us two in the studio talking to each other. So we haven't needed them, but that is a familiar sound. The Four Wheel Drive podcast on Instagram, all our episodes over on the 4WD podcast, Ronny, if you're not all over that. Patrons, thank you for your support, merch, voice messages, and Ultimate Four Wheel Drive over at the 4 Wheel Drive podcast.com.au. Now, special episode today, boys. It's our 100th. Raise the bat.
Well done, boys.
Well done, 100 episodes. Mate, you're back from the canning stock route, which is just as exciting. And Jaden, you're back doing your actual job.
Yeah, I'm here.
Which is probably quite
behind the
good
desk,
for you
not
too.
in front of the camera. Very nice.
Not earning the extra cash for sitting in the host chair.
No, they don't even pay me for that, mate.
I can't even see him now because the screen's blocking
It's
him.
a bit flattening, isn't it, that we can't see our
You still there,
co-host on
Jaden?
the 100th episode.
Yep.
there?
Yeah, still here. Hey,
Hey,
mate.
he's still there.
Just wave.
Present.
But boys, 100th episode, that is something to celebrate.
1 ton.
It's gone very quickly. Did we expect to be sitting here in our 100th episode?
Well, I remember someone saying to us at the Sydney Full Drive show,
Do ya?
we wouldn't make it past 20.
Yeah. I do remember that also. I think Jaden also remembers that one.
I remember that one.
Yeah, well, Jaden reminded me of that one the other day on the phone.
Yeah.
So I think, I'd just like to say thanks to that person because it's kind of like a motivator, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think we've done all right out of it. I mean, that was... we weren't even 20 episodes in when we started doing shows at the four-wheel drive and adventure shows.
That's true.
Fast forward to now, we're almost 2 years in, and our 100th recording.
2 years, wow.
I'm pretty proud of the lads.
So
Yeah.
we've got 2 more weeks, so it's 2 years? I think we've done 2 years.
Well, we might have done. When did we start, Jade?
We had a break at 1 year.
I'll find that out now.
But anyway,
Our
100th
first
ep.
episode release date. I know we recorded a few before we actually released any, didn't we?
Oh, okay, yeah. But anyway, it's our 100th ep on release, which is big. So, and it's a good one to be on as well because, mate, you've just finished the canning stock route, whatever you want to say.
Yes.
How are you, mate? How are you feeling? I mean, that we spoke about it at the start. This is a bit of a even for you, this was sort of like the
pinnacle of desert.
pinnacle of desert travel.
Yeah.
And we spoke a little bit about the blues finishing a trip, but the excitement of starting, being in it, the blues of maybe finishing, or do you have that at all? What's the feeling now that you've finished it and you're back home?
The feeling is was good. It was actually good to finish, like just getting to the end, and all the way. There were setbacks, hurdles, unexpected situations, and it just kept going and going and going. There wasn't like something major that went wrong, but there were lots of medium problems along the way. Also running out of clean drinking water towards the end.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we kind of messed up a little bit there. We relied on the wells a bit too much.
Yep.
And some of the wells had mosquito larvae in it.
Yeah, okay.
Which I had to sacrifice 2 shirts just to filter it out for everyone. And yeah, there was a few things that next time I'll do it because I'm definitely going to go back there. It is unreal. I think Chris is worried that I'm going to make this like an annual pilgrim. Man, it's awesome out there, man.
Yeah.
It is so different to what I expected.
In what way is that? Because
Well, I think when people see the desert for the first time in Australia, they're expecting something like out of a spaghetti western where it's just sand and cactuses, right? But we don't really have cactuses here. I mean, we have succulents, plants and stuff, but there's so much vegetation out there. You're kind of like, are we in a desert? But you are in a desert because there's not much water around. It's just really hardy plants that are growing out there.
yeah.
It's constantly changing. I think we spoke about this a little bit
Yeah,
while
we
I was
did.
away.
Yep.
Yeah, but now going through the whole thing, I'd have to say the most boringest part, and that's like, it's not even the right word to use, the boring, of the environment would be at the very start and at the very end. That's where it becomes similar.
Okay.
Both ends are very different, but they kind of don't change much after a little while. But through the middle, you just wouldn't expect it.
Yeah.
It's constant changing.
And you got a bit of water towards the end. How'd you go? We cut out before you attacked some of these crossings. How'd you go with finishing in the water up the northern end?
I think I actually cut out when I hit a washout.
Oh, did you?
I don't know if you could. Yeah, because I heard Raph was listening back to the podcast when we were at Calgan Pool on the way back. And I was like, oh, just keep it going. I just want to see where I cut out. And then I cut out before I think I cut out before the washout. But like it was like I was engrossed in talking, and then I was paying attention, but we're going pretty fast on this road, and all of a sudden there's this washout, and fell right into it. And I was like on the radio, boys, watch out for the washout. I think I thought that was the reason why I cut out, because it was a hard hit.
Yeah.
It was just like a drop. They come out of nowhere sometimes, especially at speed. So yeah, I sent that video to you guys where I got to, that was option 2.
Right.
So we had one more option to go. So at this point, we're like, oh shit. We don't have enough fuel to go back.
Yeah.
So are we going to be waiting here for a number of days for this to dry? What are we going to do? So we went around the other way, and there was a section, because we were like going pretty fast, we wanted to get to the shop before they closed at Mulan, because we were supposed to go to Billaluna. Then we had to change to a different town, which is out near Balgo. And I missed that turn off. I saw it, but I was like, it doesn't look that bad. So I'll just creep along, and I was like, okay, it's actually pretty bad. So I turned around, come back. And at the point where I was like, okay, it's not that good, I got back to that exact little section again, sunk the car.
Yeah, right.
And I said, look, you guys go to the shop because we need to get the water and all the supplies before the shops close at 4 o'clock. So Chris and Jacob took off, and then Raph and Mark and Sienna and myself were stuck there. So they had to try and help us out. And I'm like yelling at Raph, don't drive in because the trip is much heavier.
Yeah.
So he came halfway. It was all right. It took half an hour to get 4 max tracks out of the mud. That's how sloppy this shit was. And it was just like a little creeping game until we could lay Rainbow Road out and then just go for it.
Wow.
And it was pretty funny because we're going, the mud was flicking everywhere. And then like Sienna goes, oh, if the mud ain't flying, you ain't trying.
Don't mind that.
Yeah, just quoting Birchie from up near Pentecost.
Yeah.
It was fun.
So that happened on the last or second last day of
the last day
of getting off the canning.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So that was a bit of a... What time did you end up getting off the track?
Well, we ended up getting to Wolf Creek that night by... we got to
the crater?
Yeah. So, we got to Mulan after the shops was closed, but Chris and Jacob had bought food. The primary school offered us to stay on the grounds.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because Chris's daughter was she was a teacher for about 2 or 3 month period.
Yep.
In Mulan, so all the Aboriginal kids, they were like keen to meet Chris. You know, because they absolutely loved his daughter. And they were hoping to see us as well, but obviously we were stuck. Yeah. Missed the shop, missed all that. So we rolled in to the primary school at night. Dinner was cooked for us by Chris, and then we had showers, and then we headed off. And then at Wolf Creek, we kind of split ways.
Yeah, okay.
So we went in, and I'll tell you what, Wolf Creek, that crater is awesome, especially driving at night, because you drive in at night, and then there's this abandoned shed and house, and it's like a bit of graffiti, and it looks like derelict, you know? So you see that first, and then I was over the radio to Chris, because to Jacob, I said, this is where we're staying tonight, mate.
Is it a bit of an eerie place, driving in at night looking at that?
It's funny. It's definitely eerie. And everyone at the campground didn't really, you'd say hi, like this is the next morning, because we rolled in at like midnight. But no one really, everyone's a bit standoffish.
Is there a connection to the Wolf Creek crater and the...
I think it's just a movie.
It's just the movie. That's the connection, yeah.
I think it's just in the back of their mind.
Ooh, in the back of my mind.
There was one couple that said hello.
Yeah, right.
Who walked the whole rim of the crater. So you can walk the rim of the crater.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you do that?
No, we didn't have much time.
Yeah.
We just went up there. I just wanted to get there, have a look at it, and just that was finishing the canning.
Yeah.
Getting to one of those towns didn't feel like it.
Yeah. Okay.
So I had to go there. And because Chris was keen to wrap it up, I said, no, I need to get to Wolf Creek. That's where I'm going to feel like that I've done it.
Now, before I go too much deeper into the trip, because there's just endless amounts that we can talk about.
So much. I think we just have to pick a portion of it when we talk about it a bit later in the show.
Yeah. I do need to, though, touch on, and you've shown us a very, very brief little snippet of some of the footage that your new drone has captured.
Oh, yes.
Now, speaking of the Wolf Creek crater, I'm sure you got some ripping footage of that we will see, no doubt, in your videos coming up on this or from this trip. But on the radar, can you give us a little bit of a insight into the new drone and just some of the things you absolutely loved about it?
The new drone. So I've got the Mavic 3 Pro. It has the similar lenses on it. So it's got like your wide angle and your mid, and then you got your telephoto. I love what the mid and the telephoto give you.
Telephoto being?
Like a telescopic lens.
Okay.
So if I had a wide angle with the drone, I could see pretty much everything from the lens forward.
Yep.
And then the next lens will be like this little square in here, and then the other one will be like, it'll be like a small footy over there. From here would actually take up the whole screen.
Right.
That's why I love this lens, because you can be 200 meters back, and you can compress the back end, like the background. You compress it all.
Yep.
And also when you're flying sideways, you'll see the background moving slowly, but everything in the foreground moving really fast.
Yeah. Okay.
So you get this nice 3D sort of. It just compresses everything in. It's just so awesome. That was really soft on the old Mavic 3 Pro, so I never really used it. On this one, it is super sharp. It's awesome, and it's just everything that I wanted in a drone.
Yep.
That the other one didn't have. And now you got 6K on the wide angle, which means there's so much more I can do in post editing, like zoom in and stuff. It's just, it's awesome.
The little snippets you showed, it's like incredible. I love a drone shot no matter what. And I reckon you notice, yours is quality always, but you notice on some other people's YouTube channels, like the good drone shots can almost make their videos. Like I reckon that's like a good drone pilot. I don't know what you want to call it, but like that actually, it can make a video sometimes, I reckon. The drone shots are just so incredible.
Yeah,
and
you could definitely overuse it though.
You can? Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's probably something I don't look at because I love the shot so much. But like, you know, when we came back from on the Nullarbor and that, we had the drone up as we went across the Salt Lakes out of Norseman.
Oh, yeah.
Like just me being in a drone shot, I was loving it. So give me more of that.
Yeah.
But so this new thing's an absolute weapon.
It's an absolute weapon, yeah. Easy to fly. The range is unbelievable. Like you can fly 50 kilometers apparently.
Right.
But it's $5,500. I don't really want to send it too far away from me. You know?
Fair enough.
So I've kept it fairly close. Like low light is epic.
Yeah.
We couldn't get the filters for it. There's ND filters, neutral density filters, which cuts the light. The reason why you would want that, or we want that, is to get more like a cinematic shot, because you can then track a car at 25 or 50 frames and then have the correct shutter speed, which means you get the nice blur of the background, but the car's sharp.
Yep.
So you get that really nice look. When you have to crank the shutter up to like 2,000, 5,000 shutter speed, everything is just too crisp. You don't get the motion blur.
Yep.
So that's where we only use it in low light. So early morning and sunset.
Yep. Can't wait to see it. Is it bulky?
It's bigger than before, but it doesn't pack. It packs about the same size as the 3. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited to see these shots. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of forewarning. There will be a tough dog tip of the week coming up, and I need you to deliver on it. But let's leave it till the end, because I want it to be a tip for the canning as a whole. But before that, I think we just talk all things canning, Jaden.
Yeah, mate.
And whatever questions you've got as well, because there's so many that we can go over. I want to start with the vehicles, and
Yep.
how the 76 handled. It looked like you were in that for most of the time. Did you spend a fair bit of time in?
Yeah. So I brought the V8 78.
Yep.
The Troopy.
Which Rafa drove most of the time.
Yeah, which Rafa drove the entire time.
Okay. Yep.
So I had intention to swap the cars.
Yep.
But it just I kept saying along the trip, you can't control the cannon controls you. So we were either behind or we had other stuff going on, and we didn't really have time to completely unpack one car and pack the other.
Yep.
And I didn't want to put Rafa and Mark out.
Yep.
So everyone was kind of like comfortable in where all their stuff was. So I didn't really want to change the cars, but I had my full intention to do so.
Yep.
So comparing the two, we can compare the two by myself and Rafa talking to each other about it during the whole trip. So I wasn't too worried about jumping into driving because I know what it drives like in all those environments. But it did come into its own, the V8, I got to say.
Oh, okay.
Compared to 2.8. So Chris had his 2.8, I have my 2.8, and Raf had the V8. Now, the interesting thing is with fuel, which car would you think would have burnt most fuel?
I would have picked the V8.
And Jaden?
Yeah, probably the V8 as well.
Okay. That's really interesting because it did burn more fuel, but not by much. So which car burnt the least fuel? I mean, that's like an obvious question, right?
Wagon.
Yeah, I would say yours.
So you reckon the 76, not the skinny tyre 78?
Oh, the skinny tyres.
I think the weight on the 78.
Maybe help. I'd still say the 76, I would have thought.
Okay.
Yeah,
that was a good pick. Mine used overall 18.6 litres to the 100.
Right.
The V8 Troopy used 20.4 or something overall. And the Bloopy, the 2.8 Troopy, used 20.2.
Did it really?
Whoa.
Yeah. But it might be driving style.
Wow. What sort of gears are we talking in terms of the, like, are you all in low range four-wheel drive for a lot of this? Or is it high range driving?
We're in high range most of the time.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That was a good debate. This was probably the run where you would notice the difference between low and high. I did switch to low at some point.
Yep.
When we got to the dunes and there were dunes close to each other, I would go low range.
Yep.
Otherwise, I'd be in high range because there's some dunes as they got taller, the gaps got bigger. So low range, you'd be capped out because between those dunes, that was the only time you could get over. You could go 40, 50 kilometers per hour.
Yep.
And sitting 40 in low range in the 2.870, it's just it's screaming.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of peaking out. That's a bit different if I had the Ineos wagon because that's 8-speed in low range. So that I probably would have kept in low range the entire way through the dunes. But it was only when we needed low range. I did put Sienna behind the driver's seat at one stage, which I'm not sure is going to go on TV, but I'll definitely go on YouTube. I just guided her down this rocky section.
Yeah.
And that's low range as well. But most of the time we're in high range.
And tyre pressures for a lot of it?
So we lowered to begin with, but not straight away. We drove in a bit because it was still a really established road. We're not slipping wheels. We're not doing any damage to the track. So we waited to try to gauge what we needed because I'm thinking 1,850 Ks. Let's take 50 Ks to work this out. And then sure enough, we went down to about 28 PSI. So still fairly high.
Yep.
But then we started encountering sand and Raf was complaining about like he felt like he could lower more. And the Bloopy was complaining a little bit too, like the corrugation's too rough, tyres a bit smaller.
Yeah.
So we decided to lower down again when we hit more sand sort of environment.
Right. Yep.
And then we're down to about 18.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Does Chris want to change to bigger tyres after doing that?
Surely.
Is that something that he's thinking about, or is he still really happy with the skinny ones?
I think he wants skinny muddies, but like he got stuck 5 times through this whole thing. 5 times through the canning, he got stuck.
Are you attributing that to the tyres?
Yes. Yeah, I am.
Is he?
I think he's, a little bit. He's still in denial. He's never going to admit it.
It sounds like he just can't. It's
Yeah.
just like stuff everyone else.
Oh my
I'm
God.
showing you that I can do this.
I guess though, if you like the look of it,
Yeah.
you can't
And we're big on looks in this
Yeah.
podcast.
big on looks.
Oh my God. So I mean, I do actually not mind how it looks from the side profile. You know, like it kind of looks like a classic trophy.
It looks great.
Yeah.
I agree with you
with
on
the
that.
skinny tires.
Yeah.
And that. But I don't know. It needs some more grip, man. Like seriously.
I did see a
the
bloopy
gym.
the other day drive past, and it had big muddies on it, and it had like the visor on the front. That's about all it had, and I was just
Grandpa
like,
spec.
that looks unreal, just with a big set of black tires.
Yeah,
and wheels. So I was just like, and just as soon as I see one of them, I'm like, is that Chris? No, it's not. It's got bigger tires.
I think if it's kept light like that, it would probably work better. But those cheese cutters, you know, like they also, as they'll be known as cheese cutters, they were also cutting the cheese out there a few times, and man, the amount of recovering we had to do to that car when we hit one of those salt pans, holy shit.
What was your setup in the convoy? Were you leading? Where were you sitting?
I was mainly sitting in the front,
Yeah.
but the bloopy was leapfrogging.
Okay.
And then when we didn't
Is that
need
because
to,
it was mainly the camera car?
Yeah. So I was trying to keep the camera car either front or back.
Okay.
Because when he was in the middle, it made it a bit difficult to film some things.
Yep.
The new guy was in the troopy, Mark, and it's the first time he's ever been camping, and he goes in the camp.
Explain that
That
to
is
me.
unreal.
How's Mark ended up in the middle of Australia for his first camping experience?
Yeah. Well, so Chris knows Mark. He helped me with one of my videos, which was the winching one. So I tried him out on that. He's got a lot of good gear. And so Chris was keen to see how he would go because he was looking at using him on a regular basis for other things because we're starting to get really busy.
Yep.
So, so we brought him along. But yeah, it was like baptism of fire, isn't it?
Wow. Did he enjoy it?
Yeah.
Loved it.
Everyone enjoyed it, but you could tell like it was wearing at him a little bit.
Yeah.
On the way through.
Yeah.
Everyone had I would say a bad day.
Okay.
Everyone had
fair enough
one
too.
bad day you know, like a bad day where you go, yep, he's having a bad day today.
Yeah. And because what's the total time that you were out there? How long did it take in the end?
Well, it was supposed to be 16 days.
Yeah, it's a massive amount
From
of time.
Perth to Broome. It ended up being 20 days, 21.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's huge, man. We averaged 70 to 90 Ks a day.
Did you really?
And we were heavy filming. Some days were even less, eh?
Oh, wow.
And when we kind
You
of
could
got...
have literally, you almost could have ran back to the campsite the night before. It might take a few hours, but you get there.
Sometimes there's so much to see.
Yeah.
And you're not really peeling off the track either.
We did speak about that though. Like you'd be doing it an injustice if you didn't give yourself enough time up your sleeve to follow your nose, like you said you were doing a couple of times.
Yeah.
But it's a lot. I completely understand how people have their day because it's like it's a long time to be out. Not a lot of other interactions away from home and the normal comforts. And what was the camping setup for everyone? Was Rafa in the
Yeah,
he was in the pop top?
He was in the rooftop
Yeah.
the whole time. My daughter kept trying to
Bargain.
kept trying to swap the swag for that. Never happened. So
He's Rafa just stayed,
Rafa's a bit of a
stayed
princess.
strong there, didn't he?
well, Rafa can also be a little bit of a pushover when it comes to Sienna. And I said to him, "Do not give up that tent, mate." You know. But yeah, he didn't. He held strong. Good on you, Raf.
Good for Rafa. He deserves it. He deserves the rooftop.
Yeah, I mean he's driving the car. You know. Yeah. So I guess, yeah, so he was in a rooftop. Mark was in the swag. Sienna was in the swag. Jacob was in a swag. Chris was in a bloopy. And I was in a swag.
Yep.
It was freaking cold out there, like so much colder than what I anticipated. Probably the worst part of the trip for me was I tried to convince Sienna to bring like two of the more fluffier sleeping bags, the bigger ones. She was like, no, I just want that blue one. Okay, well, it should be pretty warm. We get out there, it is freezing cold, man. So I ended up giving her my sleeping bag, and I grabbed hers, and then I grabbed a spare one from Jacob, and I was so cold because these sleeping bags were shit house.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, just wish I brought all, because I got like 3 crash pad ones, and it's so warm.
Yep.
And I got like a Patriot Camper one, but it's too big, too bulky, but that one's super warm.
Yep.
But I wish I had it.
Yeah.
It's just
Was it just the temperature just drop off once the sun went down? Is that what
Yes.
it is?
Yeah,
Just sort of standard desert sort of.
4 degrees.
Oh, really?
First morning.
Oh, wow.
And then it was like about 7, 8, 9 kind of thing. They were all like in the single digits.
What were the days warming up to?
Well, we got one day went up to 27, and then the next day was freaking cold again.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
I don't
So
know.
it wasn't that hot.
No, it wasn't. I mean, it got warm as we got further north.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And then we were in Broome. I wasn't even in my sleeping bag.
Yeah.
But, you know, there'll be listeners overseas or in cold climate going, that's not even cold.
Yeah. It's cold for us.
It's cold for us because we're not geared up for it. We don't have thermals and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I didn't have a jacket. All I had was 4 of these and a sheepskin vest. That was it.
Yeah, that's not. I know the desert gets cold, but I wouldn't have expected it.
Yeah, you just don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did check the weather, and it was supposed to be a lot warmer, but you know, it's just things change, and it's hard to get like an accurate pinpoint out there. And then there was the weather came in, and that's what it rained north of us as we hit the Canning. This bad storm came through, and there were people on because Rafa keeps an eye on the Facebook Canning page. And he was like, there's like people on there going, yeah, it's 200 mil of rain, or it's going to be 100 mil of rain. And I was like, fucking Facebook heroes, like seriously, just wait till it actually drops and then let's see how much there is, you know. And you get everyone like with like all their sad emojis and, you know, all this shit. People just get into it, eh? It's like a forum, you know.
Yeah.
And then, and sure enough, there was 90 mil that hit Balgo. But about 50 mil probably hit the Canning, but I had enough time to soak into the ground, and that's what I was expecting. But we still got up to the top, and we could have very easily been stuck there.
Yep.
But we would have found out before, I reckon.
Did you go to Balgo?
No, but yeah, we might have. Like I thought we might have had to.
Yeah, okay.
But Mulan was accessible.
Mulan was that's the one you broke off to. Yeah.
And as we're driving out, we actually passed an Ineos Grenadier.
Did ya?
Yeah.
Coming back down.
Yeah, I thought I was seeing Skip.
Yeah.
It was same colour, everything.
Really?
Old chap by himself.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was cool. Yeah,
There you go.
Extra fuel tanks, jerry cans or
I would
anything.
say so. Hey, I would say so. That was the first thing I thought of. It's like, where's all these extra fuel?
Yeah.
There was another guy at the very start. We were sort of like tit for tat for a little while. He had his Prado full of fuel. Yeah. Chris reckons when he spoke to him, all he could smell was diesel coming from inside the car.
We had a chat about that actually.
Yeah, we had a good chat about that.
You can't keep petrol inside the cab,
Oh, hell no.
but you can keep diesel.
You can, but I still wouldn't do it.
Yeah. A fella was asking, and we didn't really have the answer. We had to Google it quickly.
Oh, man.
and we were like, oh, but he wanted ideas on how to
Where to store
fuel, and we sort of didn't have a lot for him there either.
It's been a great podcast without you, mate.
Yeah, it's been a lot of guessing.
No one's blown up yet?
We've said
I'll
no
tell you
one's
what,
listening, but
I know someone who has driven with petrol in their car. my old boy.
oh,
I remember I did a trip with the old boy, and where the hell were we? It was somewhere quite remote. I think it was out at Murchison Off-Road when I used to be open, a thing. And I walked up to the car one stage and I was like, wow, can you smell the petrol in the car, Dad? He's like, no. He's sitting there with smoke in his mouth.
Oh no. In the clouds
Old
somewhere.
fellas just don't care as much, do they? It's good.
Yeah, they don't make him like they used to.
No,
now.
they
No,
don't.
they don't.
Yeah.
That's kind of like a.
I've actually got
That's a big move. That
I've actually got a photo of my old boy and Torben's old boy. They're both holding a jerry can. They both got a smoke hanging out of their mouth while they're pouring a jerry can.
Wow. That's commitment to having a dart.
It really is, mate.
Yeah.
Darts are so important.
Yeah.
Back to the canning. Are there what things did you bring that you didn't end up using a lot, and what things did you not bring that you were like, fuck, I really wish I had that?
Yeah, I really wish I had. I got a water tank for the roof of my car, but it didn't come with all the fittings, and I left it too much last minute. So I didn't want to fuck around and try and put that up. So I got the fuel on the roof. I wish I had more fuel. I had to give one of my jerrys to the troopy, so the bloopy, so he could make it. So would I have more fuel? Would I have more water? Gloves I didn't expect I would be using, but gloves actually help me save water. Because if you keep your hands clean, you don't need to use the water to wash your hands. Now, if we're at a well, I'll just use my hands.
That's a tough dog right there without you knowing that.
Yeah. Also, my fingers, you can see they're quite dry.
Oh,
they're
yeah?
still dry. Actually cracked here. They're quite painful when they crack there, by the way. So it's like my hands went back to my old construction days, like the steel fixing days. Just all started cracking and stuff. My lips started cracking, which is pretty normal for desert travel. In the first week, you'll generally get that. It's like your body's adapting to it. But to save water, if you bring gloves, and especially the cold mornings, you can use your hands a bit better.
Yeah.
Also, collecting firewood, things like that. Just doing general tasks that require, like bit of friction with the hands, like moving shit around and stuff, and pouring diesel in your tank. It's a good idea to have gloves because you get diesel in your hands. It takes a fair bit of soap and water to get it off.
Yep.
So gloves, 100%. I'm glad I brought a few gloves.
I didn't expect you to say that when Jaden asked this question.
No, and
I like it though.
It was one of those things that it's like, wow, like where's my gloves? I can't find them now.
Yeah,
So
right.
I had to just deal with because if we're using camera gear and stuff as well, you get dirt and everything.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden you're trying to get a lens cloth, and then it's like it's a dirty lens cloth because you touched it, and
Gloves.
and it's probably would have been good if Chris had his shower setup done different. So his shower setup would take from the tank only. It didn't have an outside hose. I remember doing that to my 79. I had an outside hose. So I could do a switcher. So I could use a bucket of water, or I could take from the water tank. Because you take from the water tank, that should be your clean drinking water. And then the other one is a method of using any water anyway to wash yourself.
Yeah.
Because if the water has bacteria in it, you can wash yourself, but you can't drink it.
Yeah.
Unless you boil it. So we relied too much on the wells because the information we had said that some of the wells in particular had really good water. Turns out that information is 5 years old, some 10 years old, so the water was pretty shit.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
You wouldn't drink it. And Chris actually did get sick from some of the water towards the end because we were running low on water. So when I got bogged, it was getting warmer, and I'd already been a bit dehydrated because I didn't drink much the day before to try and save water for my daughter. And so I kept that for her, and then I would take the other water. So I popped 2 hydrolytes in it to try and get the taste out because it tastes like shit. I did boil it, and I was just sipping at it when I needed it.
Yeah.
So because my eyes were dry, my mouth was dry, so I just had to sip a bit of water just to keep going.
You're obviously out of hunt and brews as well then.
Oh, well, I had one hunt and brew left on the last morning of the day.
Gee.
Yeah. People kept saying, man, you are hiding shit from us. You keep finding shit. I'm just really good at like I'm just going to pretend it's not there for a day or two. And then later I'm going to go, oh, yeah, I forgot
Oh,
about
so
that.
you'd take a day or two off of a hunt and brew and then...
Yeah,
right. I was going to say, you couldn't have had one daily for 21 days.
Almost.
Almost.
Jeez.
There's a
I
couple
feel
of days
like-
that too.
Oh, you did have a hunt and brew fridge, though, that's right.
I feel like if Rafa's listening to the podcast, we might have spoiled it a little bit of how many hunt and brews you had in the car. Because you were talking to us on that first week about showing us your fridge setup, how many hunt and brews you got, where your secret spots are.
Yeah.
Rafa might have listened to that episode and gone, oh, okay, you're hiding it, mate.
Well, I'm surprised that Rafa could hold on to chocolate. He had one of those, what do they call those, the silver ones, the Whitmans or whatever. He had one of those.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
He had it from the start to the end.
It's
and
an
never.
interesting choice of Rafa, though, to go that chocky bar.
Oh, I love those. I love
Do
that
ya?
brand of chocolate. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, especially the coconut rough.
Is it Whittaker's?
Yeah, I think so.
Whittaker's? Yeah.
I had a coconut rough one, which Sienna found. All of a sudden, she's in the car with this. I'm like, oh man, that's the one yeah. She's like a mouse, eh? Just she finds something to just go through it. Our snacks were diminishing because 14-year-old teenagers eating everything.
Yeah, fair enough too. I would have been as well.
Yeah,
I'd be done in 4 days out there, I reckon. We're gonna need some serious help if we end up on this Amberdale trip.
It's funny though. Once you run lower on water, you get more thirsty. Your body, or like because you concentrate,
Yeah.
it's like your body's telling you, find some fucking water for me. So it makes you thirsty. So you start looking for water, and you start rationing for water.
Yeah.
So I think that's like a survival mechanism that we have. Also snacks, you run low on snacks, all of a sudden you're like craving your snacks more, and you eat them more, and you're like, oh shit, now I'm out of snacks.
Any bush tucker?
Yes, the holly, the Grevillea holly leaf. It's got red flower. Now, I knew a little bit about it to start with, but didn't know you could drink it.
Oh.
So because my hands were all getting stuffed up, they're looking pretty good now compared to before. I had lots. All my fingers got sore as well.
Yep.
So I boiled up a tea out of this stuff and started washing my hands with it. And then when we caught up with the indigenous crew, JK, I pulled my bottle out and I said, I made this stuff, but I'm not sure if you can actually drink it. And then because I had the leaves and the flowers in the bottle.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh yeah, that's we have that tea all the time. Like if someone gets really sick, we boil a cup of this, and then the next day they're right as rain.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, really? And then he's like, yeah. And I said, oh, well, then I opened the bottle and had a little swig, and then I passed it to I think it was Braden. I passed it to Braden. Had a swig, and he goes, mate, it's too weak, because you got to crush everything up a bit more.
Yeah.
So I made one as when we had to cross the first salt pan. It was like got a bit tribal there. I just started making this up, and Chris was like, what are you doing? I was like, well, I think we'll make like a rite of passage to get past this salt lake. We don't want to get stuck, because everyone was worried about it.
Yep.
So I just wanted to play the mental game to get everyone on board that we're going to be good.
Yeah, right.
Because they were like talking about abandoning the canning. That was going through people's minds.
Yeah. Was that like disappointment by any chance?
No, not like disappointment.
I don't know. I've got some stories for you about that I've read.
Okay. Yeah, it's a no-go zone.
Well, nah, not necessarily, but I'll leave it off air because I don't want to get things wrong.
Okay, yeah.
It's quite cultural.
Yeah, I know some things too that I don't want to say.
Yeah, I don't know either. Just in case.
So maybe it's a similar thing. Yeah,
we'll check.
That'll be interesting.
After.
Yeah. Well, bad things happen around there.
Mm.
So, but yeah. Well, we made this tea, and then the mental game kind of worked. I passed the billy can around and drank out of the billy can, and then we crossed the first salt lake.
Yeah. So how was that meeting with the TOs? It was in Coonawarra?
Yeah. It was incredible.
Yeah, I reckon that would have been a highlight for me.
Yeah, that was a highlight for us
okay.
too.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was a highlight for us too. That took us to a sacred site, which I just can't talk about. But
yeah,
all I can say is, their culture is way more connected to the land and sophisticated than what anyone would imagine, you know.
And you've almost got to probably see that to understand that a little bit and hear it from.
Yeah, you do. Now, I really want to share their stories, but I can only do that if I have the permission from a TO and a TO tells me. So they can talk to it about, everyone else can talk to me about it, but we can't record it, obviously, out of respect. And there's a few things we got to filter through the content because we had cameras rolling, which we are aware of. So we need to make sure that those don't go in. But I definitely want to go back and spend more time. And then, share some of their stories because if people knew what we were told and found out and was revealed to us, I think people would be less inclined or will be more conscious of what their actions are when they're out there, when they see something. It's difficult to explain without.
I think you've summed it up well. Did you rolled into Coonawarrigi and just spend a day and night with the TOs and the locals in town, and they obviously you've had a little look around, and that's awesome. I reckon that'd be.
We're actually running a bit late.
I reckon we chatted to you just as you were about to arrive, actually.
Oh, that's right. So Chris had an incident on the way.
Chris.
Because we'll push in too much.
Yeah, right.
So we're coming out of the dunes. We're going up this rocky knoll, and then down the other side. I was probably about 1 kilometre ahead in distance, so I could just faintly see him every now and then. And then all of a sudden, it's caught on dash cam from Rafa. He had it's a really grainy sort of shot. But it's good because you can kind of see what happened. And it's not something that you would even try and stage because he's so lucky not to damage the car.
Okay.
So when I heard it, I swung the car around as soon as I could, come back, and I was like, holy shit. There was this deep rut, so the wheels couldn't touch the ground, obviously, in the rut. And he didn't see it. I didn't see it either, but he'd come around and then turn into it. And then the whole car dropped in. And I was expecting to see all the panels and everything damaged on that side. But I was more concerned about how the wheel would have gone in because he would have gone in with a decent speed. And then bang, Jacob jumped out the window apparently, and he had the phone up. He's like, "Fuck, thought we were going to roll over," and he was a little bit rattled. So we needed 2 inches to get him out.
Oh shit! Okay.
So that cost us about an hour, a bit more actually, because that happened to be when people were coming from that way, and we passed someone that morning, so it was like it lines down, lines up kind of thing. So we had to wait for him to pass.
Okay.
But he got really lucky. He could have easily damaged the car. So
just back on Coonawarrigi, just quickly, what is for people that have never travelled to remote Australia that may listen to this podcast and they've never actually been or don't know much about the Aboriginal communities out there. What did you see of Coonawarrigi, the town?
So Coonawarrigi, it's a town that got restored by the elder, the TO there. He's from Calamari National Park, so formerly known as Rudal River.
Right.
His name is Mookie. So we got there late because of that incident. They were concerned about it. That's where I was leading into with that. We got a bit distracted with that. So we rolled in, and then straight away we're like meeting them all. We were like greeted and that. So, but then we needed to. I needed to sit down and talk to the elder. But first to sort of get, invited to talk to Mookie. I I think I felt like I was sort of being looked at and like seeing like what I was like, you know.
Yeah.
So so I wasn't going to overthink anything. I just sat on the ground around the fire, while everyone else was sitting in chairs. It was a bit odd because we needed the stools for the interview, so I just sat around the fire and just waited. And then after a little while, he was ready to have a chat, so he needed to get an interpreter. And then we had a chat. And so from what I learnt, there was a few things that the interpreter didn't want to translate,
Right.
because I was asking a bit about the history. But what I did get was some cool stories. He was in his young 20s when he saw a plane for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
He was saying like he got so scared he hid under a tree and was like, what is that? And for us, it'll be like, to compare it to modern day now, it'd be like, it wouldn't be like a UFO were landed, because we already have ideas of what a UFO might be.
Yeah.
It'll be something completely unfathomable. You just couldn't process it, you know? So you could imagine that. And then he was talking about his brother-in-law saw for the first time a plane land and then cars come in and stuff. So to them, it was like, what, like it'll just be mind-blowing kind of thing. But a big change as well. So he came out of the bush to go, and then he went to Coonawarra. And Coonawarra was a mission back then.
Right.
But he didn't want to stay there, so he went back to the bush. He wanted to.
Oh, okay.
He wanted to stay in that kind of thing.
So
later they came and got him again, but at this stage the mission had been abandoned. So he restored the mission as a central community.
Yep.
To gather all the Indigenous around the area, and sort of because a lot of them got split up, stolen generation, things like that.
Yeah.
So when the Gun Barrel Highway and all that got put through, a lot of those people got relocated up to there.
Yep.
So there's a lot of mixed culture.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's an interesting place, that whole Western Desert area. Like whatever there's a couple of different names of the deserts through there, but it's so. I've just searched it up from Newman, which is probably, looking at the maps, probably the closest decent sized town around there and it's to the west, is a 13-hour, 12-hour drive. Like it's just for a little bit of guidance on how remote it actually is out there.
It's very remote. They actually get supplies from Alice Springs.
Do they? Okay, so they get supplies from the east. Yeah, right.
Because it's closer.
Is it? Yeah, right.
I think it's an easier run for them. There's another community.
It's crazy.
On that road. I forgot
is
the
it
road.
Curracurra?
Yeah, Curracurra.
That's the most remote town in Australia, I'm pretty sure.
Oh wow. Okay.
I believe.
Yeah. So that's what you pass if you go to Alice.
Yeah, okay.
So
it's just incredible. Yeah.
So there was no hunt and brews there, because
I wouldn't have thought.
They get supply from Alice,
I wouldn't have thought.
But you know what's really cool though? The IGA, is that IGA? I think it's an IGA, general store there.
Yeah.
The general store there, anything that is unhealthy, the price is up.
Right, okay.
Anything that is healthy, the price is kept the same as your local IGA here.
Right.
Like, like IGA is slightly more expensive than Woolies and that.
Yeah, yep.
But, capsicums, bananas, avocado, tomatoes, all of those healthy sort of foods, they are reasonably priced.
Yep.
So they're encouraging a better diet.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah. And what I also like in these communities, shops, all the lollies are behind the counter.
Oh, yeah.
And they're quite expensive, which means that when I'm in there shopping for some more supplies, I can't just fill my basket up with lollies, as they tend to do. So that was another good thing. We had a kangaroo tail for the first time.
Oh, I've been wanting to try.
Yeah.
Kangaroo tail.
Be prepared to bring some hand wipes.
Right.
Because it is the stickiest thing.
Really?
It's the stickiest thing.
Or the actual, like...
Yeah, all the fats and stuff in it.
Yeah, okay.
But oh my fucking God, it's tasty.
Yeah, I've heard very good things. Have you tried it, Jaden? Nah. That's what I found funny in Newman. They've got them in the freezers.
Yeah.
You can buy them
at
like at your Woolies or whatever the supermarket was there. I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's a cool process the way you do it as well.
Yeah, was it straight on the fire, or they foil it?
Straight on the fire it's a bit of a process. So straight on the fire to burn the hairs.
Yep. Oh yeah, then
Yep.
off with the stick.
Yep, off with the stick. And then alfoil it.
Yep.
And then you dig a hole.
Yep. Okay.
Coals in, tail in, coals and dirt on top.
Right.
And then give 20 minutes. Presto.
Yeah, right.
It was so good.
That's cool. And
they had a bit of a laugh at me, because I was just gnawing at it.
Yeah, right.
It was so tasty. I was pretty hungry too.
So that was a highlight for you, being in that.
Yeah.
In the company of the
definitely. And just watching like how and like taking in how they go about things.
Yeah.
So before the tails are ready, they're off they go, and then they're taking some limbs off a bush, come back, got all these leaves. Then we unroll the kangaroo tail, chop that up. It's all in the leaves.
Yep.
So it's no sand and stuff goes on it.
Yep.
So after we finish that, all the bones go into the fire pit. And then the fire pit and everything gets covered over with,
Yep.
The fire pit stays, but everything else gets placed back where it was.
Yep.
The leaves picked up, put back where they came from the bush.
Yeah, right.
And then obviously they'll just decompose there.
Yep.
So just seeing how they this is just how they brought up with the land.
Yep.
So it goes back to how it was when they came.
Yeah.
Which is what we try and push for people when they go out bush. It's like, leave it better than we found it. The other cool thing, they were mentioning a camel.
Oh.
I was like, I didn't see any camel. They knew there was a camel coming. And then, sure enough, 5 minutes later, there's a camel there going, oh, what are you guys doing there? I'm out of here.
Yeah, right. Well, walked up to you.
Oh, well, it just came over because we're at the wells, so
were you at well 33 at this stage?
Yeah, so Coonawarra, they refer to as well 33.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, just all the wells have an indigenous name.
Yeah, okay.
Some are harder to say than others.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the name. I've just got it up here, but it doesn't have the indigenous name, unfortunately.
Just the culture and awareness, like, of their surroundings.
Yeah, okay.
They're so in tuned,
I'll tell you what, well 33 airport's a fair way from town.
Yeah, it is actually.
You almost need a short flight from there to town.
Yeah.
Gee whiz.
So they're actually redoing a hotel there.
Right.
So that's going to have, like, the accommodation was pretty good from what I could see.
Yep.
And they're gonna make a bit more there. They want to make it like a central stay on your way into Canning.
Oh yeah.
And I'll tell you what, it's nice to get there and use a decent shower.
Yeah.
They have washing machines as well.
Oh right. So they're pretty well set up there for the travellers as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, righto.
So once they build all those things up a bit, it'll be pretty awesome to.
Oh, that's grouse.
Yeah, it's a great place to visit, and you feel really safe in there as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I love that. I'm jealous of that part. I'm jealous of the trip, but that part especially.
Yeah. So I felt really safe. I generally lock my doors anywhere I go, but I didn't lock my doors there.
Yeah, right. That's awesome. Open arms. Gold. I don't even know. There's so much I want to talk about. But how long have we been going, Jaden?
We should probably
55 minutes.
Yeah, gee,
probably save the
probably should
save recoveries for another time. But
probably should save some other things.
Is,
how about
you probably want to know anyway, though.
You've got heaps of time.
I want to know. We've got heaps of. Well, we've got another 100 episodes to talk about it, but maybe we start to, because I don't want to go over everything, and then as your videos start to come out, it's gonna trigger so much more for me and for everyone, no doubt.
And there's a lot of stuff that I've forgotten already.
Yeah, 100%. Which I can probe.
Going through the vision already. I've only up to day 2. I'm just doing all talking notes for editing and stuff because I've got many more days to go. And I was like, what day do we do that on?
Yeah.
Shit. What day was that? I just can't remember.
Keep a diary on that.
And it's like, oh yeah, we went to this place too. You know.
Have you got a after all that? Have you got a tough dog tip for the canning? That, I mean, you had a great one. I thought the gloves tip was awesome. Is there something though, preparing for the canning? conquering the canning, whatever it might be, a
Yeah.
pretty holistic approach to this tough dog tip of the week. But
Yeah.
is there one that stands out?
Yeah, there is one that definitely would stand out. Like when you go camping, I think having hygiene and staying clean is a number one priority, especially in a desert, because think of a frying pan. You've just cooked some lamb and you got all this oil, and then let's say you left the pan overnight and it's cold, it's winter. What does the pan look like? It's all this white fat that's stuck. That's how you can feel the next day after a few days. So clammy is a bit different.
Yeah.
It's not like you're in the tropics where sweat replaces sweat replaces sweat.
Yeah.
Out there, you sweat, you sleep, you wake up, you're clammy.
Yeah, okay. It just
So-
takes on a bit.
Yeah, and some people can handle it more than others. I'm okay with it, but you can't deny a nice shower is good.
Yeah.
So, when you are going to do a desert travel, bring a steel bucket and have a shower box made up. Don't rely on those things you can buy at your camping store, because they will break, and they'll break at the most inconvenient time. I've been soaped up head to toe before, and my fucking 12-volt shower broke
Yeah, right.
because the impaler the metal bit was spinning inside the plastic bit and just wasn't doing anything. So then I had to get my backup shower bag out, zip tie a shovel to my roof rack, and then have a shower.
Yeah, okay.
And the whole time I'm naked, covered in soap,
Yeah.
trying to sort that out. I was just lucky camping by myself. Yeah, I'm sure someone else would have done it for me though, because it's like, well, you're either going to see me naked because I'm going to do it, or you can get it for
You
me.
can't run around for it.
That's the ultimatum, mate. So yeah, definitely bring a pump setup, and with your pump setup, let's go back to what I was talking about before. Have it so you can switch from if it's attached to your car, have it so you can switch from your water tank.
Yep.
And you can then bypass and use a hose straight out of a bucket that's from a bore or a well or something like that.
Yep.
There was only one really good water source on the canning, and I really think that a bit of funding should be put in to put 2 more bores in the canning.
Right.
Because bore water, there's some really nice bore water out there
Yep.
that we actually drank. Georgia bore, really clean water.
Yep.
It tastes sweet, It's like,
Yeah, right.
nice. And that'd be put there by a mining company.
Oh, okay, right.
But yeah, so put some bores out there, that would go a long way to I know the Track Care have done a lot of good stuff out there by sealing the wells a bit better with the hatches and stuff.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, some people would definitely be having showers and using soap right at the well, because I had to tell people not to do that.
Yep.
Because it's not something you think of. So you get soap and people washing themselves into that well. You think about that, and then you go to use that water. It's not going to be very good.
Yep.
You can't boil soap out of a bucket.
Yep.
There was one well we tasted soap.
Yeah, right. Oh,
Yeah.
must have been swearing.
Well, I didn't have too much of that water. We boiled a pasta with it. Couldn't taste it in that.
Jeez.
Yeah, but Rafa was mentioning, this water tastes like soap.
Yeah, right. So hygiene.
Hygiene.
Don't underestimate it out there.
Don't underestimate it,
Yeah.
because it makes you more comfortable.
Yeah.
And having a shower after 3 or 4 days out there, it can really make your day much better.
Yep.
And as an additional tip, make sure the crew you go with, that's probably the most important tip.
Yep.
That the crew you go with, you can tolerate, and it's not just tolerate, you understand each other.
Yep.
You understand each other's flaws and when you need a bit of a pickup, because that's what we were all there with each other for.
Yep.
I had a really shit day because I had a migraine and I was in a real shit mode towards the end. But I had someone call me out, and it was good because I could then go, you know what, I need to just fucking do a group apology. half the group didn't quite understand it. Like, what are you apologising for? You don't need to. It's like, no, I do, because I'm affecting some people here.
Yeah.
But everyone had one of those days, and it's just good to have that understanding and being open with each other. If you can't be open with each other, then you could end up a bit offish, and it can lead to shit you don't want.
I can understand that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there'll be like, you guys probably have a lot of that with your team.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah,
like it's just everyone makes mistakes or has a shit day, and it's just everyone just gets over it.
Yep.
Gets along.
Can definitely I can reason with that for sure. Let's park it for a while. There's so much more to cover on the canning. I can't wait to see some of this.
Like being chased by dingoes and surrounded by dingoes while we're recovering. And
really, see that there's so much more to get to, but we'd better, I think, Jaden, get to around the fire pit, if you will, please.
We had a few come in, and me and Doug have chatted on some of these.
Battled our way through them. But I wanted to get your opinion on this as well. So,
driving with petrol.
Oh, that's just one of many, mate. Hey guys, got a question for you guys. If you're doing a technical question segment, if you're trying to snatch someone else's car out who's bogged, should you engage your rear locker, front locker, both lockers, or no lockers in the vehicle that is trying to recover the bogged vehicle? And same question for the bogged vehicle also.
We had no idea about this, by the way.
Very dependent. I would say don't use the lockers.
There you go.
If you're in the sand, don't use the lockers. A little bit of wheel spin is okay. But I think the most important thing is don't yank the car too hard. Always start soft and then slowly go, if it wasn't enough, go a bit harder. Only a little bit though, not too hard. Spend some time clearing stuff in front of the car. Combine snatch strap with max tracks or recovery boards. Goes a long way, where it would then mean you don't require lockers and things.
Yep.
If you use lockers and someone pulls too hard or something, something is more likely to go bang, because you're kind of you're locking all. Nothing can escape.
I think we sort of mentioned that, didn't we, Jaden?
Yep.
Slightly. Like, just didn't. We were like, oh yeah, maybe you should, but then we were like, I feel like if you're locked, it's probably not a good thing if you end up.
Yeah, it's not the best, unless you have to.
Be quick,
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're stuck in a mud hole or something, and you need, and it's beneficial for all the wheels to move because it's actually going to put less stress on the car.
Yeah.
Then, in that case, yes.
So neither vehicle, you would say, at a starting
Especially
point.
not the recovering vehicle.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a lot of pressure you can put on, especially if you start snatching a lot harder.
Yeah.
It's like, even if I was winching, I wouldn't lock it either.
Yep.
Unless the car is being recovered, that may need the lockers.
Yep.
But most of the time, just if you're not sure, just don't.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's nice.
If you will know if you need to put them in, that's probably the best way of saying it.
Yeah.
If whatever you're doing is not working, and you can see that there's opposing wheels that's causing the problem, because these other two don't have traction, then you're going to know, okay, let's try with lockers.
Yeah.
But nice and easy. Yeah.
Nice.
Great. A couple of things from last week when Duggo, you and I were talking about Ultimate 4 Drive. Bit of feedback on Ultimate 4 Drive. People seem to love tuning in just for that as well. So, or love listening to it. So keep telling us what you think there. Some stuff for the Telstra thing we spoke about last week. So Telstra's come out with what is it? It's
the Optus, not the Optus.
The Starlink thing for
Samsung
S25
only.
So if you buy a Samsung S25, or if you purchase it and it's outright, you can get satellite texting in the Outback using.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it uses Starlink's thing.
That's pretty smart by Samsung.
We just didn't really understand, like,
there's
just so many parameters that you had to
hit.
Yeah, to get it.
So weird.
It's like, why don't I? Then I have to pay for the phone outright. I have to buy a Samsung.
Yeah, it has to be an S25. Like,
was it a certain plan that you had to go on as well?
I don't know if it was a certain plan, but it was just outright, and
and then it was just interesting that they chose to side with the Samsung S25
Yeah.
when I could just keep my iPhone, the plan I'm on, and purchase Starlink and on and off the subscription whenever I needed it. Anyway,
it's interesting.
We toot and froed a bit.
Yeah, so there was apparently it can be on a plan. You don't have to own the phone outright, but it just can't be prepaid. And it's for people who pay by the month. It's apparently a winner, as it won't be long and there will be a broader range, according to Richard Walsh on YouTube. So
I think
be interested to keep an eye on it.
Yeah, I think the only people that are going to do that are people who understand it and exactly all the bits and pieces,
or what it actually is,
or someone who's desperate to have it, or someone who's already on a Samsung phone. So I think they're kind of screwing themselves in the foot a little bit doing that.
It'll come out eventually on other phones, but apparently it's going to take 2 years to do that, and it's just
well, I can wait.
I don't
2
know.
years.
It's a weird one.
Thing is, you get I mean, my Starlink worked pretty good, but the thing is though, I could text Duggo, I could text you the photos, but I couldn't text them to Jaden. And then that's why I texted you first, then tried Jaden, couldn't do it. Then I put them on WhatsApp.
Yep.
So you guys got them through WhatsApp, but because Jaden, you're not an iPhone user, I couldn't text them to you because I didn't have phone signal, but I had Starlink. So when you're trying to send texts and stuff, it doesn't quite work sometimes.
Right.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Ronnie, how do you go with post-trip blues?
Post-trip
blues.
Post-trip blues.
Yeah, Doug and I talked about this last week.
It's like the trip ends.
Yeah, wondering what you think about post-trip blues.
Unpacking.
Coming back from the CSR, how do you feel the ending of a trip?
See, that's a big trip. So I think I only really get the post-trip blues if it's like a short trip.
Right.
You know, like 4 or 5 days. It's like...
That's interesting. We said the opposite. Well, I said the opposite.
Want to
Duggo
stay
doesn't
out.
get post-trip blues at all.
To a degree I do, but yeah.
Duggo loves staying at home.
Obviously, I don't even...
I think...
never go camping.
I think a longer trip, you've been away for that long, it is nice to get back to family, but also like we walk into your house and you feel like it's a palace.
Yeah.
You know? You feel like you're walking into a mansion, but you're just walking into a house. It's just, you know, all of a sudden it's like, wow, look how high the ceiling is.
Have you seen
compared to my swag?
Have you seen the Barbie movie? No. Oh, I haven't seen it?
No, I haven't seen it. Haven't got around to it yet.
I'm not even going to have a crack at it then.
Go on, mate.
Nah, like Ryan Gosling when if you haven't seen the movie, it's actually not a bad movie. When Ryan Gosling comes back and he calls it like his dojo mojo casa. Like, yes, I'm picturing Ronnie. Right. If you can put that in this show somehow, it'll make a lot more sense as to how Ronnie walked into his house after coming back from the canning stock.
See if I can put it in at the end here. Just
This shall henceforth be known as Ken's Mojo Dojo Casa House.
Just then,
insert Ryan.
You would have heard it.
Instead of my head hitting the ceiling in my swag, you know.
Yeah. One more. What's more wanky, scrub bars or a stainless steel snorkel?
Oh, stainless steel snorkel.
Duggo's got both, hasn't he?
Maybe. About to. Still don't have a snorkel.
Oh, you've missed a bit, Ronnie. That's all of them. There we go, boys.
Haven't missed much, trust me.
Yeah. You've been away. You missed it. You missed a few inside jokes there.
At least it's not a twin stainless steel snorkel.
No, it could be. Could be.
You never know.
Never know.
No, I'm not doing that.
Ultimate forward drive. Duggo's the ultimate wanker.
Oh. No, what was the question last week was... No, it was more of a comment,
was a statement.
Actually. It was a statement. Quite a harsh one. Was no need for scrub bars, basically. Only wankers or farmers need them. And
we figured...
And Jaden and I both don't
we're
own
not farmers.
So we just figured that we're wankers. But anyway, we got some scrub bar support though, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah. And then Jamo came in with his 76 with no scrub bars. And I thought, that looks good.
Do you know what I think would be more important than scrub bars? That is doing your DIY steel cable from the bull bar to your roof rack. I forgot what they're called. You got like limb pushers or something. So if you look at the Camel trophy trucks,
Oh, I
they
think
go
I
through
know.
jungle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about.
And then it pushes everything away. That would have been handy on parts of the canning. Yeah, because there was one section where it split and we knew that one side was going to be too wet.
Yeah.
And we thought, oh, yeah, we'll just go for 20 k's an hour. And it was all acacias. So acacias is usually the first plant that will grow after a fire.
Right.
And it's a plant that leaves all the nitrate in the soil. It kind of gets the soil ready for the other plants. But the thing is, because they grow so fast, they're encroaching in on the track. So you couldn't walk down this track without your face being hit by.
Right.
You know, so imagine driving down that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the acacia plant. Yep.
Yeah.
Interesting.
There you go.
Around the fire
Episode
pit done.
100.
Episode 100. Well done, boys.
100.
Been an absolute pleasure sitting down, chatting to you blokes 100 times over.
So next
Probably a
time we'll do
little
a
bit more.
101.
101, mate.
101.
101. That'll have to be our best episode yet, I reckon.
How to
101.
podcast a 101.
How to podcast 101 with no idea what you're doing.
Well, we've made
well
it so
done.
far.
Thanks, Jaden. Thanks, Ronny.
No,
It's been
thank you, guys.
It's been good fun, been a ride, and I think we've got 100 more to go. No worries.
Oh, easily. We got a lot of stuff planned.
We just
And-
need someone to tell us we're not going to get past 120.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just give us some motivation.
Just give us a bit of motivation.
That's all we need.
Someone commented. 9th of June, boys. That's when we first released our episode.
Oh,
9th
wow.
of
Wow.
June.
It's been 2
9th
years.
of June 2023.
Been 2 years. It's 11th of June today.
Oh
Yeah.
shit, it's the 11th of June.
Yep. It's 11th of June today. So
How's that,
9th
boys?
of June was our first ever episode released.
It's the 11th of June.
Crazy stuff.
We started the show, like recording potties and planning it in May of 2023.
Right. Oh, wow. Okay. Yep.
Early May.
What date is the next? Are we recording next?
When do you want to record next, mate?
It's up to you, mate.
we wing this a lot.
It'll probably be in 7 days, right?
Probably.
Most likely.
Yeah,
Got a plan?
maybe.
Interesting. All right. Well, we can talk about it in Patrons.
101.
Shout out to everyone who's listening to this.
Yep.
We wouldn't have got to 100 episodes if it wasn't for you guys. So
Great call.
Yes, that is very
Great
true.
call.
thank you for your support.
Thank you for your
Thank you
support
for
and
listening.
Hopefully your ears are still okay.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
No, we do appreciate all the love, all the support. Been 100 fun ones. 100 to go, definitely. Big things to come. I think we're improving as we go. Obviously, we've got Ronny back from the canning stock route, so there's some exciting stuff to cover over the next few weeks anyway. And then I'm excited to see what he's got planned for 101 because obviously there's something coming up. But,
Something going on.
But no, again, thanks, guys. We're going to wrap that up. That's the Four Wheel Drive podcast, powered by Tyrepower. That's our 100th episode, which we are really proud to say.
Yes.
Been a good ride. Obviously, all the standards, the Four Wheel Drive podcast on Instagram, all our episodes over on our own YouTube channel, the Forward WD podcast. Patreon, stick around. We're going to chat to you guys. You have been our biggest supporters for these 100, so we appreciate you more than anything. And merch, voice messages, and Ultimate Four Wheel Drive, we are still ticking away over at the forwardwdpodcast.com.au. For the 100th time, we out.
For the 100th time. Adios amigos.